Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers and subscribers, at the channel we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because it saves lives. That is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives on this channel. We at this channel aid criminals, their financiers, their supporters, enablers, and the likes with a passion, and we do not want them over here. Yes, let us repeat ourselves. We do not want any criminal supporters over here. Please, we do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes, or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you, the criminal supporters, enablers, financiers, and all the likes, to go to prison or madness. Let me repeat myself. We at the Jamaica Young Police channel, we do not want the criminal supporters and their circle over here. We want you to go to prison or madden. Moving on to our video.
Yeah, so right now you're looking at a man, his name is Javon Pinnock. Yeah man, Javon Pinnock, and he's wanted in New York for the murder of Javon Jamison. Yeah man, and we want this man off the street, we want him out like now. Javon Pinnock is wanted by, yes, he's wanted by the NYPD for the murder. Yeah man, he's wanted for the murder of Javon Jamison, aka Blingers. And we want this man off the street like now. Yeah man, we want him off. Along with an accomplice gunned down Jamison outside the Pure Lounge nightclub in Queens, New York on April 8, 2023. Jamison, a 23-year-old from North Lauderdale, Florida, was shot multiple times and succumbed to his injuries at Jamaica Hospital in New York, so them kill him in America. So Pinnock is currently on the run and is believed to be hiding in Jamaica. His accomplice, Christopher King, has already been arrested and charged with murder. Second time now, him charged with murder, you know. King, you know, in New York, you know. So Pinnock is described as black, look like frog. I mean, 5 feet, 10 inches, and 220 pounds, with a scar on his left cheek, or you can say, face. So if you have any information on Pinnock whereabouts, please contact 119 Jamaica and let the police know that this corrosion is wanted by the police in New York, and they would issue the warrant to extradite him. There's an extradition warrant out for this man. But please, we're begging you, we're beseeching you. Use your conscience, please, for once. Don't follow the criminal-minded Jamaicans, man. Protect criminals. Because, look, the same boy that you're protecting today, tomorrow he might turn on you. Alright, so moving on to today's video. Yes, right now you're looking at a photograph of a woman at the top. Her name is Valerie Neita-Robertson. You know, one of the most esteemed, and when you talk about witty lawyer, when they come on to, you know, navigating the laws of Jamaica and even, you know, the British system, well, she's one of the best, if not the best, of her time. She represents some of the most notorious criminals in Jamaica, and you know, she passed away today. We don't know from what, if it's natural causes or what happened, but we know that she passed away. She wasn't killed, and that's the most important thing. But there are so many other people that, you know, God could have taken, like Michael Jackson, Carolyn Gomes and other people, you know, evil people. But, you know, our dear sister, our beloved aunt, Valerie Neita-Robertson, God has called her home. So, a torrent of grief and guilt, so the unthinkable meltdown of a cold-blooded killer, Andre Bryan, when he heard the news of her passing. So based on the information received and obtained from, you know, from people who are, what should I say, they are neighbors in prison, black man neighbors. And so we're going to tell you about, you know, why black man was crying uncontrollably today. And, you know, he was talking with one of his cellmates, and, you know, he has neighbors. So we're just going to tell, you know, we're going to tell you about us, you know, as a former member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, I wish to take this moment to extend my deepest condolences to the family, colleagues, neighbors, and friends of the late attorney, Valerie Neita-Robertson. Yeah, man, she was a very, very good person. I can tell you that based on my interaction with her for decades. I have had the profound privilege of knowing Valerie for many decades, a span of time during which I witnessed firsthand the qualities that made her so extraordinary. I had even spoken to her a few times since we have this channel, because she's a friend. When we say a friend, Valerie was much more than a dedicated attorney. She was a paragon of kindness, a gentle soul, whose warmth and compassion touched everyone she encountered. Her kindness was evident not only in the courtroom, where a brilliant legal mind shone, but also in her everyday interactions with friends and neighbors, whether through a reassuring smile or a few thoughtful words. She exuded a genuine sweetness and love that uplifted those around her. Throughout her illustrious career, Valerie demonstrated unwavering decency and impeccable honesty. She approached every challenge with a steadfast work ethic and a heart full of empathy, always putting the well-being of others before her own. Her commitment to justice was paralleled only by her desire to serve her community, and the integrity stood as a shining example of what it means to lead a life of purpose and honor. Yeah, we can tell you this, that we can say this publicly, because we are our friend. She's a comrade. We are telling that straight. And we are tell about she representing our family. Remember them, we're back, and no, we're not going at that. We are telling straight up, she's a comrade. So today we mourn the loss of this remarkable woman. We also celebrate the enduring legacy she leave behind. Valerie's life was a tapestry of compassion, perseverance, and selfless service. A legacy that will continue to inspire all who had the fortune to know her. Though she is no longer with us, her spirit remains alive in our memories and in the countless lives she transformed with her kindness. In remembering Valerie Neita-Robertson, we acknowledge that her absence leave a void that cannot be filled. Yet, in our grief, we also find solace, comfort in the timeless impact of her generosity and strength. She's gone from our sight, but her spirit, her lesson, and the love she so freely gave will never be forgotten. And I'm going to share a story. I'm not call the politician name, a PMP LGBTQ plus member of parliament. At the time, he was the member of parliament up in a center on a Brandon Hill area. And yes, and I'm not gonna call him name. He had a pharmacy along in a Huntsville police area near to Greenwich Farm. I don't remember, you understand? And his vehicle, his vehicle driven by one of America hit my car, and yeah, and then he might try not knowing me, the politician that tried bad me up, call my cell phone, and I have to tell him about Philaba Joseph manner. Anyway, we can tell you that based on that accident that happened, yes, and I had she had taken care of the case, and you understand. And based on what happened between yours truly and that politician, yeah man, Portia Simpson Miller kick him out of the party. When I say kick him out, him couldn't represent the constituency again, up in a Brandon Hill. Him own a pharmacy near to Ayats, upon the same stretch. Yeah man, a PMP LGBTQ plus member of parliament at the time. But he wouldn't even know say it was because of his behavior on the phone. Yeah man, why Portia kick him out and them thing there. Yeah man, they must kick him out, yeah, you understand, because he never know who him attack with and them thing there. So one call lead to another and them kick him out. Yeah, so I was able to, for him to, him insurance, take care of it and fix my car, all corrosion. So we have some legacy, we have some good memories of her. She was a kind-hearted person. So we're going to Blackman, because that she represented Andre Blackman, in the case of Douglas Chambers, the JUTC chairman. That black man was arrested and charged with murder. A torrent grief and guilt, the unthinkable meltdown of a cold-blooded killer. In a night that seems ripped straight from the pages of a scandalous tabloid, Andre Bryan, a man whose name had become synonymous with brutality and moral bankruptcy, was seen crumbling on the floor in a public outburst, uncontrollable grief. The trigger, the shocking, heart-wrenching news that the esteemed beloved attorney, Valerie Neita-Robertson, had passed away. This was no ordinary loss. It was the final crushing blow to a man whose soul had been as dark as his past, as him. Yeah. He told him cellmate them, say, boy, if I never see him, them gonna convict him a court for kill Douglas Chambers, because the witness who was in the car with him, the man who drove the car and testified against him and the other man, but the other man was killed by the police. It was Valerie Neita-Robertson, aggressive cross-examination of the witness that made the witness become like an hostile witness. And that's what black man share with him cellmates. You understand? As you know, black man name, for decades, Andre Bryan had carved out a reputation as a merciless killer, a cold-blooded executioner who left behind a trail of devastation. His name was whispered in the same breath as the most heinous criminals, a shadow lurking in the darker corners of society. Yet beneath that formidable exterior, hidden behind eyes that had witnessed too many horrors, there lay a turbulent mix of remorse and gratitude, a cocktail of emotions that defy his brutal image. The catalyst for this unexpected emotional unraveling was none other than Valerie Neita-Robertson, a towering figure in the legal world, known for her unyielding commitment to justice and an almost mythical ability to turn the tide in the courtroom. Valerie not only defended Bryan during one of the most sensational trials of the decade, but she also, in a twist of fate, saved him from a lifetime of incarceration. She represented Vybz Kartel, Zeeks, and I can go on and on and on, some notorious criminal. Yes, her defense had been so masterful, so piercingly effective, that despite the overwhelming evidence against him, the jurors delivered an acquittal that left the nation reeling. Because guess what? The person who was there, the witness who was a part of Andre Bryan gang, gave witness and he were able to beat it with the jurors. Eyewitnesses from the trial recall the tension that hung over the courtroom like a storm cloud as Valerie dissected every piece of the evidence that surgical precision. Even the most ardent observer found themselves captivated by her elegance and ironclad logic. In those moments, she transcended the role of an attorney. She became the beacon of hope, a savior for a man otherwise condemned by his own monstrous deeds. And now with her passing, Bryan's art, an anomaly in a man who had long been considered devoid of human warmth, could bear the weight of sorrow no longer contained. So people say, boy, them can't believe a black man have a heart. Him cry like a baby. You understand? So he was explaining now, so the battle of wits, will and morality, the trial that cemented Valerie Neita-Robertson legacy, was nothing short of a legal coliseum, a gladiatorial contest of words and wills that captivated an entire nation. At the center was the murder of Douglas Chambers, the chairman of the JUTC, a man revered in legal and corporate circles for his unwavering integrity and dedication to reform. Chambers' death was not just a statistic in the annals of crime. It was a catalysm that shook the pillars of power and ignited a firestorm of public outrage. The reason why them kill him, your PMP LGBTQ plus mayor at Spanish Town, Norman Scott, He knows everything about it. You have an artist with name, what does I tell you now? You have an artist named Luton Fire. He was there too. Courtney, Stamatera, Samuels, he was there when the plan was hatched to kill Douglas Chambers. As a black man thought that, you know, in a jail cell. Since everything happened with Vibes Cartel, and Vibes Cartel denounced him and a big up Tesha Miller. So the prosecution pointed him, black man, as a remorseless killer, a man who had extinguished the life of a symbol of justice and order. So when Bryan was accused of executing Chambers in cold blood, the evidence against him seen as irrefutable and as it was damning. But in stepped Valerie, a strategist whose mind was as sharp as a razor edge. With an audacious blend of empathy and legal brilliance, she dismantled the prosecution's case piece by piece, witness testimonies that once appeared unsealable were rendered suspect under her relentless cross-examination. For hours on end, she danced around the facts, twisting them until they painted a picture of ambiguity rather than a clear-cut guilt. Courtroom insiders later revealed that Valerie's strategy was driven not only by legal acumen, but by a deep-seated belief in redemption. She saw something in black man, Mermond, one former clerk, who wished to remain anonymous. It wasn't about just saving a client. It was about giving a lost soul a chance at life, even if that soul was stained with the blood of an innocent man. The trial raged on for weeks, each day more intense than the last. Headline screams of the miracle defense and the Lady of Justice who had pulled a cold-blooded killer back from the abyss. When the jury finally returned with a verdict of not guilty, the courtroom erupted in chaos, a mix of the disbelief, elation and profound questioning of what justice truly meant in a world where even the vilest of men could find a path to redemption. The legacy of Valerie Neita-Robertson, a champion for the doomed, was more than an attorney. She was a force of nature. Over her storied career, she had fought battles that many deem unwinnable. Each case a testimony to her unyielding determination to seek truth and fairness, regardless of the darkness that lay behind the defendant's eyes. Her approach was unorthodox, her compassion limitless. Even when defending the indefensible in a society all too quick to cast judgment, Valerie Neita-Robertson believed in the transformative power of second chances. Her courtroom was not merely a battleground for legal dispute, but a crucible in which the fates of those society had already condemned were reshaped. Too many, her passing signified the end of an era, a time when the law was not just about a mechanism for punishment, but a vehicle for personal rehabilitation and possibility of moral rebirth. For Bryan, the debt he owed to Valerie Neita-Robertson was insurmountable. Every moment he had spent on the run for the past year then, every dark hour that he had spent contemplating the gravity of his sins, was tethered to the memory of her unwavering belief in him. In his tear-streaked breakdown as he collapsed before his friends, his cellmates, and onlookers alike, the raw intensity of his emotion was as startling as it was inexplicable. How could a man who had taken a life so callously be moved to such a depths of despair? The answer lay in the transformative power of mercy and the power that Valerie had wielded with both grace and ferocity. To the casual observer, Andre Bryan tearful outbursts might have seen as an anomaly, a bizarre contradiction to everything known about him. Yet for those who had followed his turbulent saga, the sight of this notorious killer, overcome with grief, was both a mystery and a revelation. In that moment, the public was forced to confront a fundamental truth about human nature. Even the most callous hearts can harbor depths of vulnerability when confronted with the loss of someone who changed their fate. Bryan's emotions were a volatile mixture of gratitude, regret, and an haunting sense of indebtedness. Every year that fell was a silence of acknowledgement of the second chance he had been granted, a chance that exists outside of the confines of prison's cell for that case. However, fate would have it that he was convicted later for more crimes, exonerated for killing Douglas Chambers. Then he was convicted after, a chance to perhaps one day reconcile with the monstrous actions of his past. So in the privacy of his inner world, away from the prying eyes of the media and the harsh judgment of society, Bryan's mind relayed every moment of the fateful trial, every word spoken by Valerie, every calculated move that had sealed his freedom. Yet, as sensational as public breakdown was, it was a stark reminder of the inherent contradictions within the human soul. He was a man who had committed an act of unspeakable violence, a murder that rocked the foundation of the JUTC, and yet he was rendered impotent by the grief and the grief of losing the woman who had, against all odds, saved him. It was as if the very fabric of his existence was woven with thread of both sin and salvation, a tapestry so intricate and disturbing that it defies simple explanation. So the courtroom victory that secured Bryan's freedom, and by extension the indelible legacy of Valerie Neita-Robertson, resonated far beyond the sterile confines of legal proceedings. Is it like debates on ethics, the nature of justice, and whether redemption was right or a privilege? Panel of legal experts, sociologists, and even reformed criminals gathered in hushed, fervent discussion about the case that has seemingly rewritten the rules of law. Critics argued that the acquittal was nothing short of a miscarriage of justice, a loophole exploited by a defense attorney with almost preternatural ability to manipulate legal nuance. To them, Valerie's performance in the courtroom was less an act of virtuous advocacy and more a demonstration of legal legerdemain, a dangerous precedent that could be exploited by others seeking to evade accountability. Yet, for every detractor, there was an equal voice of admiration. For many, Valerie represents the embodiment of mercy in a harsh and forgiving world, a world where even those who had stayed and strayed into the darkest alley of crime deserve a silver of hope. The debate reached fever pitch in academic circles and the television talk shows alike. Some legal scholars position that her tactics were unorthodox, had brought to a light the complex interplay between law and morality, a realm where the black and white of right and wrong dissolve into shades of grey. They argue that the case was a mirror reflecting society's own contradictions, a society that celebrated justice while simultaneously learned for redemption for its most wayward members. Public opinion was divided and the media had a field day. Newspaper headline screened the miracle lawyer last stand and a killer's tears. The price of redemption, each piece dripping with sensationalism that further entrenched the mystique surrounding both Valerie and Bryan. And we can tell you that even Donna Zeke Swipes, he was convicted with double murder. You know, he's a rear admiral because one of the dead men, semen was found in his mouth. Yeah, because Zeke's, pop off into the man's mouth. Rear admiral behavior. and she was able to get back millions of dollars that the government had deemed were money that he had obtained illegally through extortion. But for some reason or other, she was able to retrieve that money for him. Zeke's, who's HIV positive, he is in prison, and just waiting for his day to die. She had represented him. So in the aftermath of her passing, tributes poured out from every corners of the nation. Colleagues recall her unparalleled intellect and the compassion. Former clients spoke of her ability to see the humanity in even the most tarnished souls, and legal experts lauded her innovative approach that had forever altered the landscape of criminal defense. To many, Valerie's legacy was not merely in the verdicts she won, but in the hope she instilled. Hope that even those who most steeped in sin could find a measure of redemption. For Bryan, black man, the void left by her absence was an ever-present spectre, a reminder of the debt he owed. A debt that no amount of time, remorse could ever fully repay. Every time he was overcome with tears, it was as if the ghost of Valerie hovered, neared, her voice echoing in the recess of his tortured mind. You have been given a chance to atone. Do not squander it. In fact, he did. And in those moments, for a fleeting second, the killer was the monster that the headline proclaimed. He was a man, not broken and desperate, grasping for fleeting remnants of humanity that Valerie had helped him reclaim. The story that Valerie and Bryan is a labyrinth of contradictions, a narrative where love, loss, justice and guilt intersect in a way that defies conventional morality. It is a tale that forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. Can a killer truly? Is redemption reserved only for the virtuous, or is it universal a possibility for those who have committed the unthinkable? And when the instrument of that redemption is silenced forever, what become of the soul that once found solace in light? As the nation grapple with the dual legacy of Valerie Neita-Robertson and the shattered psyche of Andre Bryan, one truth remains inescapable. The human condition is a complex tapestry of light and darkness in a world where acts of unimaginable cruelty can coexist with moments of profound vulnerability. The lines between sinner and savior, perpetrator and beneficiary blur into insignificance. Bryan's public display of grief, raw and unfiltered in his jail cell, was a potent reminder that beneath even the most ardent exterior, there lies a capacity for change, for regret, and for an abiding need to honor those who extend mercy in a merciless world. The echoes of that fateful trial, the roars of the courtroom, and the silent tears of a man once celebrated as a paragon of brutality will resonate for years to come. They serve as an enduring testimony to Valerie's genius, a brilliance that not only saved a life, but also challenged the very foundations of our justice system. Her passing marked the end of a remarkable chapter, one where the law was wielded as a twofold transformation, rather than mere retribution. And as the sun sets on her legacy, it casts a long shadow on the path ahead, a path fraught with the eternal struggle between right and wrong and hope and despair. In the end, the story of Valerie Neita-Robertson and Andre Bryan is a more than a sensational headline or a tabloid saga. It is a narrative that encapsulates the inherent contradictions of our society, the capacity for redemption in the face of unspeakable sin, the power of one individual to alter the destiny of another, and the bittersweet reminder that even the darkest of hearts, a spark of humanity can endure, if only for a moment. As we close this chapter of a story that has both horrified and mesmerized the public, we are left to ponder, what is the true price of redemption, and can the scales of justice ever truly balance the weight of our collective sins? Only time will tell if the legacy of the fallen angel like Valerie Neita-Robertson will continue to inspire, or if the sorrow of a single tear-stained killer will forever haunt the corridors of our conscience. I will say, may Valerie Neita soul rest in peace, and it was a joy and a pleasure knowing her personally. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.